people need to find that their local food systems is something of which they should be proud of, because the food that they eat represents the diversity of the culture and of nature of which you saw as you were going around. It took a long time, half a century, to fight for those rights. The rights to recognize that I, as an indigenous person, I am a minority. I am not part of the dominant group, and that I have the rights to my culture, to my language, to my land, to my territories, to my collective ways, and to the right that I do not need to behave like any other Indian. I am an Indian, but I am an Indian in my own right as a tribal of India. Or I am an indigenous person in Ecuador, very different from mainstream, but I have the right to be different. It's important first for people to have their own understanding of what is their happiness. You know, they must define themselves. All too often they watch a movie or they hear someone and the field is always better on the other side of the hill. That does not mean that people will stay the same way like their great-grandfathers live. Their basic culture remains the starting point, but over life we evolve. I think it's important that we know our traditions, because those traditions and knowledge came from thousands of generations. But we must also learn to take advantage of some of the development of modern science without falling into the problems that modern life can lead into. That's why I say it's important to define what is happiness. What is it to me that is happy? Even the poorest of houses, you will find that there are at least 15 or 20 or 30 food items on the table. The spices we use, the various vegetables that we have, and not all the vegetables are what is grown in your kitchen garden or somewhere. Many of the vegetables are from the forest. So a lot of the food that we eat, so for us the forest is not just trees, it is also the source of nutrition and of food and other items. So the well-being of people is very dependent on that. Plus people also depend on a lot of the herbs for our medicine.
No one taught him, he learned from his own experience. He has a talent. He's doing his own research relates to this. Once we are healthy, we are able to do lots of things. If we are not healthy, means we are useless. He gives his knowledge like by writing. He gives his knowledge to his children by writing. So, to medicines, to mix up the name of the herbs, how to mix.
The leaves are boiled along with other ingredients. This is the main ingredient. This plant is being imported from Bangladesh. No? It's mainly brought here for ornamental purposes. But later the villagers discovered that it has medicinal purposes, and it is used for anemia mainly. This rhizome, what he does is he makes into a powder form. Okay? When he make into a powder form, he mix it along with some other tonic which he already prepared with some other edible plants, other wild plants. So this is mainly used for renal function, for kidney failure, okay? If to remove toxic substance in the body, so that is mainly used.
How do you put the indigenous issues or the indigenous aspirations or the indigenous good practices or knowledge system as part of the larger domain, of development?
There is something in Kentucky Fried Chicken which they have, which we don't have in the traditional system. And that is, when Kentucky Fried Chicken is prepared, it is very clean. Everything is done in a clean way. Most of what is prepared in our place is extremely dirty. But that cleanliness of the Kentucky Fried Chicken kitchen is something that we can take it. So not everything that seems to be bad in modern is bad. There are some good parts even in the devil. So take those good parts, and that is how I think we need to combine. Modern life is not all bad. Modern life has a lot of good things. In many ways, we have overcome a lot of the problems which our forefathers used to have. We don't chop each other's heads as easily as they used to do in those days. And that is a big advancement. We have systems, provided we are willing to go by certain laws and standards.
It has raised now a second level of consciousness and understanding that yes, we have something with ourselves, which we thought it is no good, because we have been made to believe that what is coming from there, this is the development, and not what we also have within. So what you're seeing now is there is this revisiting of the self, and says no, we have some of our good practices, we have some of our knowledge, we have some of our our way of doing things, which could also lead us toward that kind of a better life, better quality of life. What I see is a second generation of bringing the issues of indigenous, and particularly I think from the issue of agrobiodiversity, which is in relation to food, relation to land, relation to forest, relation to medicinal, etc. So I think this is the large issue, and the large issue is that what we have been talking is development with identity. Development with identity, that we develop along with identity, along with our culture, with some of the good practices. So I think rather than just say development means income, it means you have a better facilities. That is one portion. But I think the larger issue here, I think, is this second generation is development with identity is the key.